carried me to streets of gold. Things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wondered what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from what I had today. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known would have kept me from what I had today.
Good morning. Let's get to it. This is 1100 WSGI on kind of a rainy, not sunny, but it's Friday, so, gotta love it. It's going to be an awesome day, guys. I hope you are into it and enjoying it and having an awesome day. My guest in studio today is Ron Baptiste. He's with the Covenant Confirmers Church. Many of you know him, and just one of these guys that I'm like, man, I haven't had Ron in here in a while. I need to get him in here. And you and I get to see each other and hang out because we're both on the board for Recovery Corps. And so we see each other in that regard from time to time. And so I just, I stay caught up with you to some degree, but your name came up at school because you are the one who came in and talked to us last year at lunchtime and talked to the kiddos about Native American and Native American heritage and all those things. Because I was telling my kiddos yesterday, and this is Faith Friday. He is, again, the pastor at Covenant Confirmers, and I told him, I said, bring us some Jesus stuff in here today. And so he's going to talk about that, whatever's on his mind. But I also want to unpack the fact that you've got this really rich heritage. Mm-hmm. And this is Native American Month. And so I did reach out to my principal, and she said, absolutely, the invitation is open for you to return this year if you would like to. Mm-hmm. Sometime during lunch. We'll just have to see. Sometime during November, have you come in, because the kids loved you. They loved talking to you. And I told them, I said, we're gonna try to get Pastor Ron back in here. And so they were really excited about that. And I know you even had some kids at the school that are members of your congregation, right?
Yeah.
Right.
They joined after we met there at the school.
Oh, you're kidding me.
That's how they come about.
Wow. Because there was one young man that was already a member of your church, though. Mm-hmm. So you've got some there from, that's awesome. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
That is so cool. That is so cool. But your heritage is so interesting because not only are you full-blooded Native American, you are full-blooded from two different tribes that met on the Trail of Tears. How cool is that? That is just amazing.
And I now own a home within a mile of where the Trail of Tears came through.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's an amazing story, Ron.
It is.
And what are the tribes?
My mother was Sioux Indian from the Lakota tribe. My father's Choctaw.
Okay.
And that's where I was born, at Ardmore, Oklahoma.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Isn't that amazing, though?
It really is.
It is amazing. It's just an amazing story. And how long have you been in this area?
Oh, I've been in this area, good gracious, let's see, at least 35 years, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What brought you to, I don't think we've ever had that conversation.
That's a long testimony. And we don't have time for that today, but yeah. God brought us here. That's it in a nutshell.
There you go. For sure. And if you don't know Ron, get to know him. Go into the Covenant Confirmers Church. It may be just what you're looking for. I keep encouraging everybody, find your church home, find your place of worship. Right. And if you haven't, keep knocking on the doors until you find your faith family. And they've got a good one up here at Covenant Confirmers. It's different. It's different. It's
not traditional, that's for sure.
Exactly. And it's, it's something that makes the people in the world that you were in comfortable to come in and get to know Jesus, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. You're trying to say, hey, listen, Jesus is, you're not trying to say, you are saying Jesus is for everyone. Never forget that.
Yeah.
And so I love what you guys do. I love what you do for the recovery community. I always see you at the recovery court graduation. And isn't that just an amazing thing?
Heavily involved in it.
Yeah, but isn't that just a beautiful thing when you see those?
And I'm starting to see more and more churches getting involved in it. That's a good thing.
I know it. I love that.
Yeah.
And that's something. Where do you want to start then? Because there's so many things we could talk about. When you said churches getting involved in it, it kind of just perked up to me. Talking for a moment about the certification they can get from the state.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about that a little bit before we get into anything else?
The state of Tennessee, in my opinion, is kind of leading the country right now in this fight against opioids. Mm-hmm. But they have a program to where a congregation can become a certified congregation in recovery.
Isn't that amazing?
And the state of Tennessee will send out a group of people to address all this to the congregation. And what it does is it opens up your eyes to what's going on. Mm-hmm. And I'm one of those that I believe that pastors need to be educated in this so that they can recognize drug addiction in their congregation. Recently, I was speaking with a pastor, and we were talking about this very issue. And he told me he wasn't concerned about that he didn't have any of that in his congregation. And I said, oh, you've got it. You just can't recognize it.
Yeah.
It's there. And once they figure out, because we got to figure out, we got to be able to see who these people are so they can get some help. Because if they don't get the help, this thing spirals real quickly downhill.
Yeah.
And that's when you see families destroyed and children being taken out of the home. And it's just a horrible, horrible ending. And then now after dealing with this for so many years, now I'm seeing the next generation following in the same footsteps as their parents. That's why the church has got to get involved. Mm-hmm. I spoke to the state legislators about 2 years ago, and I brought this subject up before them, that we can't win this battle against opioids and drug addiction without the church. So the church has got to get involved in it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like in the Revolutionary War. Everybody talking about the red coats. No, it was the black coats that made a big difference. And the black coats are the preachers.
That's right.
That stood behind the pulpits. Mm-hmm. And that's what we need today. We need the ministers coming together and these churches getting certified. Mm-hmm. We can recognize this thing, especially with our border crisis going on and all these drugs flowing into America as freely as it is. So we just need to be educated on it.
Yeah, we need a new black robe regiment.
Boy, we do.
Yeah, it's a black robe regiment if you've ever studied history.
Yeah.
And that's a fascinating study. But you're absolutely right. I couldn't agree with you more. And it is a battle that we've just got to continue to fight and step into and say, we just got to take it on. But what did the legislature think about you, brother?
Well, they liked it when I was done with it. That's for sure. Because I kind of used one of their old slogans when I got done. When I finished, I announced them. I said, "I am Pastor Ron Baptiste, and I approve this message." So
I love you.
So they all loved it.
I would have loved to have been a part of that. Oh, Perry Myers is on here saying hi. Everybody saying good morning. Paul Rainey, Charlene Sullivan's on with us. All these people, the work that everybody does. I just so many things. I got to say something about Perry real quick. Just kind of jump off on the sponsor wagon. I've been telling everybody we're still looking for a couple of other sponsors, but Perry and Katie Myers are going to come on as sponsors for One Street Over starting next week. We're going to be talking about Katie Did It, and we're going to be talking about Perry's music and all of the things. And I know it's not the School of Rock anymore. It's Perry's Perry's Music. Is it just Perry's Music? Talk to me, Perry. Put that on the comments though, because I forget exactly what the sign says. But they do band. They do band. They build bands and all that. It's just a cool thing that he's doing there with music. So they're coming on as sponsors next week, and so I'm so excited about that. But so you're going to be hearing more. But Mr. Perry's Music. Thank you, Perry. I knew I was getting it wrong. I was slaughtering it. Pardon me, my brother. But Mr. Perry's Music and Katie Did It, which is like a home interior design and those kinds of things that are going to be on as sponsors next week. So, yay, that's fun. But we do have some room for some more sponsors. So let me know, because Veterans Motorplex. I tell you, since I'm talking about, let's go ahead and drop off and talk about Veterans Motorplex right now, because guys, this is, and I love, Jerry over at Veterans Motorplex. What a wonderful guy. And today is a lot of Veterans Day celebrations. My friend Matt Driscoll, which he teaches out of county now, he goes, "We're off tomorrow. Y'all not off today?" And I said, "No." I said, "We go on Veterans Day because, Dr. Chris Causey told me this last year when people were asking, why are we not off on Veterans Day? And he said, because I like having the kids in school so we can talk to them about what veterans mean. Yeah. But what about what the veterans mean to us?" And I thought, wow, I get that. And so we're having a big Veterans Day program at Greenbrier today. And would love to have you come in, pop in, and be a guest if you want to come in and check it out. But that's going on between 8 and 10, I think, today. And so we're going to be there doing all of those things. But thank you to all of our veterans. Tomorrow is officially Veterans Day, though. But I say all that because Jerry is a veteran, and he has Veterans Motorplex. And if you want to go to the races, this is your last chance, guys. This weekend, go to the races. This is the old Highland Rim Speedway. You know where we're talking. It's at 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. And when you call Jerry if you have any questions about what's happening, it's 615-643-8725, 615-643-8725. This is the Crown Vic race. It's going to be fun. They got a bunch of cars involved in this. It is going to be a blast. You're going to want to be there. A $40 ticket will get up to 8 people in, 6 kids and 2 adults for $40. You cannot beat that. They got a great concession stand when you get in there. You will have an absolute blast if you go out to the races. Weather's looking good. It's going to be a little cooler, but man, it's going to be, it looks like the rain's out of here. So you'll be able to go to the races and enjoy that. But follow them on social media at Highland Rim Speedway in case there's any changes in the schedule. But this is the last weekend, guys. Get out to the races while you still have the chance. Gates open at 4, racing starts at 6, and we'll go until about 9. You're going to want to be a part of the races. Veterans Motorplex, last chance, Saturday. Get out there, and when you do, tell them you turned Cinja and thank them for being a sponsor here at One Street Over. And if you want to be, let us know, and we'll contact you, and we'll get you all lined up. Ron Baptiste is in the house. What is this? Now, you want to talk about your Wednesday night recovery program?
This is what we've started on the Wednesday night. I had, like three different support groups going during the week. And what I've done now is I've combined all 3 of them together, and we're doing them on Wednesday night. Because what we've noticed is that the families are coming together and speaking.
Right.
So we're getting answers from inside the family.
Right.
And questions asked, questions answered. And I'm seeing a really good turnout there. So it's turning out really well.
I love that. And what are the details on this Wednesday night program?
It starts at 7 o'clock. It's every Wednesday night. And it's right there. As a matter of fact, we have completely remodeled our front area. We kind of stepped it up in class because I want all of our support groups. Sometimes support groups are kind of put back by the wayside, in like a warehouse type room.
Right.
Well, I wanted to make them feel comfortable, so we've got some custom chairs, custom tables, and we really just remodeled the whole thing to make everybody feel more comfortable.
I love it. I love it. Now, do you have? With the holidays coming up, y'all tend to always, try to do some special things. Do you have some things in mind with the holidays coming up for your people?
Yeah, we work with the recovery of Robertson County Court for the Christmases for all the children, people who are either incarcerated or those that are involved with the drug court. Mm-hmm. So we have a Christmas for them. And we look forward to that every year. That's a really big deal with us. Very
good. And it's just... go in and check them out at Covenant Confirmers. Yeah. If you've got anybody that is caught up in addiction, that's in recovery, and maybe they're just having a hard time finding a place to plug in.
Yeah.
Well, this is a place where you can plug in. and be a part of everything that they have going on. And what is about the Sunday services? What time did your Sunday services happen?
Sunday starts at 10:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long does it usually go?
To about 12.
Till about 12?
Yeah.
So do you have a Bible class, or is it all just there in the
It's
main
just
room?
right there in the main room.
Okay, very good. Do you preach every Sunday?
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Every
Are you a
Sunday.
fiery preacher?
Well, they say I am. It depends on what I get involved in, you know.
I love it. Well, what do you want to talk about today? Because, I said, do you want to bring just a devotional kind of message today? Do you have something you want to share?
Well, something that has touched my heart recently, and it's kind of like in the book of John, like around chapter 6. This is after Jesus has fed the 5,000 men with this kid's fish dinner, so to speak. And what I want to point out was the fact that after he had fed them, everybody was full. Jesus left, and all these people tried to follow him. And when they found him across the sea, they asked him, what shall we do to work the works of God? And Jesus turned around and defined what the works of God were, because he told them, said, you follow me because of the food that you've eaten. He said, I'm here to give you an eternal food. So when he talks about following him and what are the works of God, Jesus defines the work of God. And what he said was the work of God was to believe on him that God has sent. And believe is much more deeper than what some people take it for. It's like when we go through trials and tribulations, we believe God. We got to stand with God. In this terrible time that we're living in right now, everything's topsy-turvy, so much violence going on all over the world. We've got to stand on the Word of God and not forsake it at this time. This is the time. That's when you believe in God. Is when everybody else is forsaken, you stand strong. Like the Bible says, when you've done all to stand, stand therefore.
I love it. And that's the thing. It's I don't know. When you're talking about that, it's when you see the world coming at you and you think things are getting tough, if you will take a breath and journey on, that's when you get stronger on the other side. I talk about my husband and I've been married 35 years.
Yeah.
And we just celebrated our 35th anniversary. Got a
Congratulations.
got our third grandson, fourth grandchild on our anniversary.
All right.
So yeah, he was a time warp baby, Ron. He was born. He was about to arrive early Sunday morning, and it was about 1:30, and he didn't quite get here before it hit 2:00, and so then the clock backed up, and so he was born on the second 1:27 of the morning. So we've been calling him our time warp baby, but he was an anniversary gift. But when people talk about, and I don't know too many married couples that don't say this, that have been married beyond the 20, 30-year range, that don't say, yeah, there's times it was real tough.
Yeah,
It was real tough. And a lot of people, I'll just tell you, my husband and I went through some pretty adverse things. I had people say, oh, I wouldn't put up with that. And I was like, well, what's the, you journey through it and you get on the other side of it, because my goodness, it was worth it. Because it's those tough times that make us so much stronger. I mean, we're as close as we've ever been in our lives, and I just can't imagine life without him.
I know it.
And so I'm so thankful that through the moments that were really hard, we pushed on. I mean, has your marriage been perfect?
Listen,
I know a bit of your story, so I know the answer to
my
that
testimony.
I know the truth of that tale.
The early years of my marriage were horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that my wife loved me enough and loved God enough to stay with me.
Yeah.
Because if not, there's no telling where I'd end up today.
But see, and that's the thing, is we face the world. I get so many people wringing their hands. Oh, the world is this and the world is that. And I'm like, the world is beautiful because it's God's.
Yeah.
There's some stuff going on that I'd rather not be going on. But the only, a lot of those things, though, have to happen to people for them to turn to God.
Yeah.
I listen to preachers all the time, and I was listening to one this morning, and he was talking about really enjoying going on mission trips and going to places like third world countries, because he goes, they've just got something we don't have because they have nothing. And so they have to rely on God.
Yeah.
And he goes, here we have so many things that are superficial that we lean into. And I'm being in the schools, oh my goodness, goodness, I love my kids to pieces. I just love them so much. But there's just so many of them that just don't care about much.
Right.
They care about superficial, material things. And the things that truly matter, they're just like, yeah, they just don't get it.
Well,
and it breaks my heart,
The superficial things are not going to hold up during times of trials and tribulation. Yeah. It's the facts that's going to bring you through. Mm-hmm. Facts of God, of His Word. Those things are going to bring you through. And without the facts, you're destined to fail because you're basing everything on emotions.
Yeah. Well, it's like whenever you talk about when in Scripture it talks about only the things that can survive the fire are going to be there on the other side of it. And, and I tell my kids, I can just bring everything to you that we're supposed to bring to you, but I can't make you take I can't give them what they won't take.
Right.
And I can't make them care, but every day I can show them what caring looks like.
Yeah.
And that's the best we can do, And and I don't know. I've had people, they just thought, these kids today, it's like, well, they said the same thing about us. They really did.
Yeah, I recall back in the 68, it was kind of like everybody thought the Beatles or Elvis Presley was going to send the kids to hell.
No, Mom.
Well, if we could turn the clock back and take that music back now, it'd be something else.
I'm telling you, I know. It is quite the journey. I love what I do, and I know you love what you do, and it's just a great calling. So, as far as anything else that you want to talk about that we haven't covered before I go to another break here?
You go back. I'm good.
Go ahead and do a break. I'm talking with Ron Baptiste. He is the pastor at Covenant Confirmers Church and a dear friend. We are both on the Recovery Court Board together, and we'll talk a little bit about that when we come back, because what a great honor to be invited to be a part of that, because it's just an amazing program. But let's go ahead and talk about Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center right now. Long time, I think they're one of our original sponsors, if I'm not mistaken. They've been with us, from the very get-go. And when we first realized that, we need to have some sponsors for this to keep this going. And, Miss Amy was first, to step up and say, yeah, I can do that. And, a lot of it was because I had been told I have arthritis. It is just a fact of life. And the older I get, the more prevalent it is. I've had both of my hips replaced. I'm going to probably get a knee replaced real soon because it's just kind of locked up on me. But I don't have as much trouble with the pain because my hip replacement doctor told me, Dr. Jeffrey Hodrick up at Southern Joint, he said, you really need to check into CBD because I think it'll help you. And at the time, I thought it was just snake oil, y'all. I thought it was like, oh, well, it's just the latest, multi-level marketing plan. But like 2 days later, Amy was sitting in here and we were talking about what was going on at the farmer's market. And she says, yeah, we'll be there and we'll have our CBD oils. And I was like, you have that? And she, yeah. And it's produced from plants our brother Bill grows. And so, you're getting what you're, being told you're getting. And I was just amazed at the difference it made. It's a natural substance, so it might be really a game changer for you. And if you're looking for some unique Christmas gifts, they're actually featuring their little bath bomb they've got that's infused with CBD. All kinds of fun stuff that you can get that are CBD infused for your loved ones. They've got coffees and they've got different kinds of creams that they've got bug bite cream. They've got headache cream. They've got the original pain salve that she and Miss Jane make there in the house. And you can also go in and get some pot holders and some cool things that Miss Jane makes. You're just going to have a lot of fun if you go out and talk to them. At Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center right now, you need to get those perennials in the ground, guys. This is a great time to go and plant some perennials, maybe grab some petunias too while you're out there. Or pansies, pardon me. Pansies are what will survive well with cool weather. So go and load up on those. But go and talk to them at Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center about what you're going to do in the spring with your garden, because now is the time to be making those plans to make sure that your garden grows beautifully next year. Get that garden cleaned out from all the vegetable gardens that you had this past summer. Right now it's time to get that ready. So in the spring, as soon as the weather warms up, if you want the cool weather vegetables, and plant those about mid-February. So if you want to get into all these things, you need to contact them today at Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center, 4920 Highway 161, 4920 Highway 161, or you can call them at 615-384-3185, 615-384-3185. and let them know that U-Turn sent you. Continuing on with my guest, Ron Baptiste. I do want to invite you to the, they're going to be setting the memorial marker, yes, for the Blue Star marker that's going to be set up here at the Springfield Memorial Gardens. It's going to be happening tomorrow, so you want to be able to get out to that. They invite you to come out. It's going to be at noon. It's noon tomorrow, and it's happening there where all of the, you've got all the things for the Orange Heart Medal is happening right there at the entrance to Springfield Memorial Gardens, but that is happening. It's a Blue Star Memorial marker that they're placing, and that is tomorrow at noon. All kinds of things going on for Veterans Day around town. Just get out and honor the veterans, and if you're a business, honor the veterans by feeding them well. My son is a veteran, and he has like he has a path he goes on. Starting early, he saves up, it saves his appetite, and they go from place to place to place, and to make sure that they can, get in on all the deals that they have for veterans.
There you go.
And they eat good. They eat good and get all the deals. But so the recovery court. Do you know how long recovery court's been going on?
I can't. I don't recall.
Have you been involved with it from the get-go?
Oh, I believe I have. To my knowledge, I have been.
I think the first one I was invited to, Ace Timbermeyer invited me to come and check it out, and I've made pretty much every one ever since. And once you're there, it's just so special. It's so wonderful. And the thing that they do that just takes my breath away is Althea organizes the remembrance. Mm-hmm. And that's for the ones that didn't make it. And
it's emotional.
It is.
What it is.
It is. And it is just so powerful because just that reminder that, it could be any of us.
And while they're showing it, all the others, the new group that's just coming through the court is witnessing all of that.
You better believe it.
And that's a good thing for them to see it.
Yeah.
That friends of theirs, like everybody thinks it won't happen to me.
Yeah.
That's what they all think.
Yeah.
And then they see all the ones that it did happen to.
Well, and anybody that's going through recovery has had friends that they've lost.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's just a stark reminder of why we work so hard to help people overcome this. And it's one of those things too that if I've my time that I spent at the Benevolent Center up at Nashville at Madison Church of Christ. There's so many people who I can't get out of my mind, but there's one guy that I was out purchasing stuff for Meals on Wheels and was in the parking lot. And you know how people will approach you in the parking lot?
Yeah.
And he never really approached me, but I saw him and I said, "Are you okay?" And he just kind of nodded and kept going. But he looked like he had been. It was really disheveled coming out of a business meeting, but it was just like he looked like a businessman, and he still had the remnants of a good haircut,
right,
and good clothes, even though they were filthy and kind of getting ragged looking.
Yeah,
but he still had the remnants of the businessman.
Of what he once was.
You knew when you looked at him, you're like, man, and you could just see that just echo of who he was. And I never saw him again, but it just stays with me because it is no respecter of persons. I don't care who you think you are. That's one of the things that hits me at recovery court at the graduation is when I see people that are, so polished up, and you look at them and you think, really, you had addiction and issues? They just don't, everybody thinks there's a type. No, there's not. No, there's not. And that's when you watch the remembrance, you see people that look just like your family members and people you go to church with and people you work with, and it just brings it home that it could be anybody.
And they never realize it until it's too late.
Yeah. So anyway, what else you want to talk about, brother?
Well, while we're talking about the American Indians, I wanted to bring up that we did do some background checks in MyHeritage.
Okay.
And it goes all the way back to the American Indian woman named Sacagawea.
Oh, you go all the way back to Sacagawea.
All the way back.
That's cool.
Yeah, matter of fact, she as far back as we can trace my last name, it goes all the way back to Sacagawea.
That's right. I remember you telling me that, the Baptiste part. Yep.
Yeah, she had a child on that trip, and she named the child John Baptiste. And that's as far back as we can trace our name. And I found out I get this American Indian apps on my phone, and they were talking about her one time that she was really well known throughout all the American Indian tribes.
Really?
Yeah, and the Sioux Nation called her the Bird Woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but she was extremely well known. So that's as far back as we can trace our ancestors.
That is really cool, though. And I mean, we all know we got the Sacagawea dollar and all of that, but that is fascinating. And I think I remember you telling me that now. And because your name is unique, that Baptiste. And you know, it was so funny when I first met you. I thought, was that like a play on Baptist church or something? you know, I mean, I did.
Well, I've been called Ron the Baptiste, so.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, and you have to wonder, okay, so if she picked the name, was it somebody that she knew with that name, or did she?
Well, since she, that was on that trip where she led the Lewis and Clark expedition, so that's when she conceived and had this child.
Interesting.
The only thing we can do is assume that was the name of the person that she had fathered her child.
Wow. Yeah. That's fascinating.
Yeah,
that is fascinating. Yeah. But now, do you participate in any of the powwows and things?
Yes, we do. We go.
When is the next one?
I don't know when the next one is. Usually one that I like to attend regularly is in September.
Okay.
It's usually up there around Mount Juliet.
Yeah, I've got a friend of mine that she's from the tribe that was in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And, or, down in Louisiana, Louisiana, I guess it'd be better pegged, but they're from that tribe, and I can't begin to tell you what the name of it is because it's different. It's one it's not one I've heard of a lot. And they go to a lot of the powwows, and it's fascinating. Yeah, it's really fascinating.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people listening to us right now that claim to have like part Indian in them.
Yeah.
And what they really ought to do is trace their bloodline down and see how much they are.
Yeah.
So they can be registered. Like I'm legally registered American Indian.
Okay.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I have a roll number, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And it's really to their advantage to get registered, because then I've got all my children are registered, my grandchildren are registered.
Yeah.
And that would be a really good thing for people who are part of the American Indian.
Well, because there are some benefits in regards to that, and there's also some benefits being part of an assembly and a registration in a reservation too. Is it not?
Yeah, exactly.
What is that? So, are you a member of a specific reservation or something like that?
Out in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Matter of fact, and a lot of people misunderstand the reservations. Matter of fact, they're not what some people think that they are. Mm-hmm. And without getting into some personal stories, that's why my mother left my father, because he wouldn't leave the reservation.
Okay.
And it's poverty, a lot of alcoholism, and so that's how come my family decided to leave.
Okay.
So we left Oklahoma, and I was at an early age when we left.
That's one thing we talk about the being Faith Friday. There are missions that go into reservations a lot of times, and for that very reason. And so, having such a connect. Being that's part of who you are. What do you think people can do? Is there a call to how many? I don't know. I have so many questions. How many reservations are there in the states?
Oh, in Tennessee. I don't know.
Across. Are they a bunch?
Yeah,
really?
yeah. There's quite a few of them.
Well,
it's a depressing state. When you're there, it's kind of like, as far as the men, I can speak as far as the men go, but you feel like you're not much of a man.
Really?
Because you're being taken care of, and it's very depressing.
Well, see, and that's the state of, it says that there are 326 Indian land areas in the United States administered as federal Indian reservations. Wow.
Good deal.
And so basically, if you're there, do you have a home or do you have property? How does it work?
Where I was from in Oklahoma, it was almost like a farmland. There were, like in my family heritage, there was a huge, big farmhouse. and the entire family lived there.
Okay.
Like my grandmother was there. Her 4 children were there, which one of them was her son, which was my father.
Okay.
And then the children they had, we all kind of stayed in one great big house. And that's how it was in Audubon, Oklahoma. But
Okay.
it's just depressing. And my mother didn't want us growing up in there, so that's why she left.
What did people do for work? Do they
Well,
work?
they work, and it's kind of like my father was a brick mason,
Okay.
and but he was an alcoholic.
Uh-huh.
He was a hard alcoholic,
Uh-huh.
and it's just part of the lifestyle. You're born into it, and that's all you know. But that's how come we got to help these people.
Okay. Well, see, and that's the thing. And so if somebody wanted to reach out to the Indian Nation, then what would you recommend they do?
You could start off by calling Tennessee, get a hold of that. There's a Board of Indian Affairs right here in Tennessee.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does each state have one then?
Yeah,
or-
each
okay.
state has one.
Huh.
Bureau of Indian Affairs.
Do they have Native Americans that head that up, or is it?
I haven't spoke with them in some time, but there are benefits there.
Okay.
That if you can prove your bloodline, there are benefits there.
Well, there's educational opportunities and things like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, what about the casino factor and all of that? Do a lot of them do that? Because I know that that's kind of been something that people you hear a lot about the Indian reservations that have casinos and things like that because they're not bound by the regulation of the state.
Yeah.
And so if they want to have one, they can, right? And that has been something that has apparently been a revenue generator, but has really certainly fed the addiction problems that are there.
Well, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, for sure.
I can only voice my opinion on it.
Right.
I don't think they're that productive for the American
no.
Indian.
I don't think so either. But
It keeps them broke, keeps them drunk,
mm-hmm.
and to me, it's not a plus because the law allows them to do it. And there are individuals, there are business loans that American Indians can get, and there are individuals who take advantage of an American Indian to get a business loan for a business that the American Indian may not even be part of. They just apply for the loan.
Oh, really?
Well, I've been approached on that several times.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
So oh, wow. Because it's just like, I know that, my son being, thank you veterans for all you do. We love you. We know that we owe everything to you. But my son as a veteran has some special loan opportunities. I mean, he can borrow money, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 times on homes or something that he has a benefit that's a GI kind of benefit that you get a discount on a loan. So that's something that's available to an American Indian all the time?
Yes.
Unlimited?
Well, as far as I know, that it is.
You've just never tapped into that at all?
I've never had the need.
Yeah.
I'm self-supporting, always have been.
Yeah.
And
interesting.
It's not a pride issue with me. It's just that I don't need it.
Right.
So.
But, and I knew there was a lot of education opportunities, but I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
And I have had, I have never gone on a mission in one of the reservations, but I've had a lot of friends who have and talk exactly about what you described.
Right.
That poverty and a lot of addiction and those kinds of things. And
well, one thing I want to point out, they also have a lot of violent crime.
Really?
Especially on women. The American Indian women disappear at an alarming rate. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. It's a well-known fact that people from the outside will come into an Indian reservation and kidnap the women, and they're never heard of again. Yeah.
Seriously. So people come from the outside in and they just think there's no record and people won't pursue it. Wow.
Yeah. So, and that is a really big deal. There's a lot of that going on.
Well, see, and that make so much is that's one of the huge black eyes on America. That in slavery is the way the American Indians were treated, and so then you look at the reservations, and it's almost like it's not helping anymore. So But you don't. I don't know. How do you fix something like that?
Morally, spiritually.
Bring them God.
That's it. That's it.
Are you seeing churches and things? Are there churches in the reservations? Are there actually places of worship and things like that?
There are, but even some of those sometimes are governed by individuals with the wrong motive.
Well, we see that in faith all the time. All you have to do is turn on your televangelist sometimes, and you see a lot of that they're taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
But do you? What is? I don't know. I'm thinking about the ancient methods of worship and stuff for a Native American. Are any of those still observed? That I don't know.
Yes, they are.
What is the origin of that? I mean, is it like does it have anything to do with God, or is it pagan? I'm assuming it's pagan.
Well, they call it like they call it the Great Spirit.
Okay.
But to me, the Great Spirit is the Holy Spirit.
Well, it's kind of like a lot of addiction programs will talk about your higher power.
Yeah.
So, and that's one thing I've always wondered as we look back on history and think about the things that we know about the Native Americans when we first arrived on these shores. They worshipped they worshipped God as they understood it. And you have to wonder what the real story behind all that was. Yeah. I'm fascinated by ancient religions and things like that, because I think it helps us to understand how we got to where we are in faith, because all of these things that were around us as we're developing what we do as the church were influenced by these different things.
Well, with the American Indian, there's a lot of folklore regarding Jesus Christ. Now, they may not have called him Jesus Christ, but there's a lot of folklore about that. So, can you share some of it with us? I don't want to share unless I really have the facts on it.
Okay.
But even as a child, the big thing with the American Indian is families sitting around talking and sharing about history. That's how history was passed down from generation to generation.
Just orally.
Yeah. And I recall hearing a lot of that.
Okay. Yeah. That's fascinating. We're talking with Ron Baptiste. This is Native American Month. It's an observation, and I just, that we have here in this country. And so we have invited him to come in not only and just share a little bit about his Native American heritage. He is full-blooded, 2 different tribes that met on the Trail of Tears. Goes all the way back to Sacagawea, this fascinating history, and just a really interesting man and pastor of the Covenant Confirmers Church. He's on the board for the Recovery Court, as I am, and just have just a great passion for the recovery community and all things, and a great passion above all for Jesus Christ. Would that be fair?
That's it.
So, and if you have any questions for him, go ahead and throw those up in comments. But we're going to continue on talking about our sponsors. And next up, let's talk about Cumberland Connect. We appreciate Cumberland Connect so much because, they help us out with internet services that so many of us have had to do without. If you are a Cumberland Electric customer, good news. They're going to come knock on your door. And they're getting really close to getting access to everyone. If you want to know how soon they're going to be knocking on your door, you can go to cumberlandconnect.org, cumberlandconnect.org, put in your zip code, and they'll tell you exactly when to expect them. Or you can give them a call at 1-800-987-2362, 1-800-987-2362. And guys, they may already be in your neighborhood. I remember Aaron Slate was saying he was wanting to check into it, and he made a call, and they were like there the next week because they had already run the lines, and he just wasn't aware of it. But every Cumberland Electric customer is going to have access to high-speed internet now, because it has replaced our phone lines. It is a utility. We all need it. And they even have an affordable connectivity program. If you're somebody struggling financially, you can apply and you could get up to $30 credit toward broadband services. They've got programs starting at $30 per month. If you want to get a gig, you can be a part of the gig club like I am for $80 and get a full gig. Upload speeds in the 500 and 600s. It's insane. It is wonderful. Having this great connectivity and the availability of high-speed internet because we all need it. So many people. I was talking to a friend the other day, and they have made the decision in his company to be totally working from home now, totally remotely. They're selling their building. It's like, I think that's one thing we got from COVID was that a lot of people saw that they could cut their overhead by just keeping their people at home as long as they were productive. But you got to have high-speed internet to be able to do that. Well, good news. If you're here and you're a Cumberland Electric customer, you got it now, guys. So just reach out to them today, cumberlandconnect.org, cumberlandconnect.org, or give them a call at 1-800-987-2362, 1-800-987-2362. Yes, please let them know you turn sent you. Ron Baptiste is in the house. So we're going to have him come out to Greenbrier High School again and talk to the kiddos during lunch. And maybe we'll have to get a big poster of Sacagawea so they can ask you, so what's the connection there? That's pretty cool. But
there's a lot of books written about her as well.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. I would imagine that knowing that you've got that in your heritage, that's something that you enjoy looking into even more.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Yeah. We've got time. We've got some time here. So you wear all the biker stuff. Okay.
Right.
So you want to explain to people why you do that? What does US 129 Dragon mean?
That represents a road up there around Gatlinburg.
Okay.
That's very scenic, very windy, and that is it. US, the highway number right there. And they call it the Dragon. And a lot of motorcycles will go up there and ride the Dragon because it's so windy and curvy. Okay. And that's what that represents right there.
Do you still ride?
Oh, yes. I got 3 Harleys.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
How do you stay safe on the road? Because as a traffic reporter, okay, some of the most horrifying wrecks I've ever had to cover have involved motorcyclists. I have a friend whose daughter was killed on a motorcycle. And I know just in my mind right now, several that are coming to mind. We had a young, he was just barely out of high school, getting ready to join the Coast Guard, I think it was, that was hit in front of our church up at Madison at OHB and Gallatin Road, hit our sign, and it killed him. Yeah. And it was not his fault. It was somebody that didn't see him or just was being careless and caused that accident. And it's just that I've always been afraid for my loved ones to be on motorcycles because I've heard so much. What would be your advice? I mean, you've obviously been riding a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And what would be your advice to people for how can we be more careful around motorcycles? For the motorcyclist, how can they be more careful on the roadways? What would you advise them?
My first advice is to take a training class. The Harley-Davidson dealerships offer training classes for motorcycles. Okay. And I strongly suggest, not only is it going to help them, it also help them with their insurance rate as well.
Okay, so your insurance rate.
But you have to drive defensively. Mm-hmm. You got to be looking for something to happen. And that's just like when I ride, and of course we all know that I minister to the hardcore motorcycle clubs. Mm-hmm. But when I ride with them, and I ride with them quite a lot, we'll go down the road, probably 100 of us or 150 of us, and we'll be doing 75, 80 miles an hour within about 1 or 2 feet from each other. And it takes just real expert driving to know how to do that. Right. But one thing we all know is there are no fender benders on a motorcycle. No. When you're going to get hit, you're going to eat some pavement. Mm-hmm. And so you dress for it, and you always look for it. Mm-hmm. The big thing is to stay sober. Oh, yeah. Because they are dangerous. Yeah. But at the same time, they are so, they are so liberating. There are times when I'm sitting in my office as pastor, and there are things that sometimes are overwhelming. Yeah. And what I'll do is I'll just get it from my desk. I'll hop on my motorcycle, and I'll take off for about an hour or so. Yeah. Come back, and I feel like I've rested all night. Oh, wow. Yeah. So to me, it's a huge stress reliever. Okay. Well, one of the pastors I follow up in is Bobby Davis in Cookeville, and he's a big motorcycle guy. Mm-hmm. You and him ought to meet. Yeah, he's an amazing guy, but he came out of addiction. Yeah, but he rides, and my son rides some, but he got his training in the military. Yeah,
you have to take a class to have a motorcycle when you are enlisted and when you're active duty. You have to go through a special training. So that gives me some peace knowing that he took that. But I know how wild he is too.
Well, I just rode in a huge toy run in Nashville for the Metropolitan Police Department. And you have a lot, I mean, there were just literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of motorcycles there. But you have to know how to ride in a pack. There are certain rules that you have to observe.
That microphone for me a little bit more.
If you observe the rules, you'll be in good shape. But there's a lot of people that don't even know the rules.
Wow.
And it makes it dangerous.
Well, yeah, I can imagine being out in those large groups like that. And
Yeah.
if you've got people around you that don't really know how to conduct themselves, that can be nerve-wracking,
Exactly.
I imagine.
And then they go to sightseeing. You can't sightsee when you're riding a motorcycle and you're in a group of bikers.
Yeah, you got to pay attention to what's going on in front of you. That's
Exactly.
interesting. So take a training class. What do you have? What do you have for people like us? I don't ride a motorcycle. I don't ever foresee me going to that. What should I do as a motorist in regards to helping keep people safe on motorcycles?
Just be looking out for them. That's for sure. Just recognize them. And one thing I know, the people that don't deal with motorcycles, they don't know how to judge the speed of a motorcycle.
Yeah.
If you're looking at one coming down the road, it's coming a whole lot faster than what it looks like.
Okay.
That's why people often pull out in front of a motorcycle.
Oh.
It's happened to me several times. I've looked drivers, I could see the whites of their eye, and I know they saw me, but yet they pull out right in front of me, and I got to lock up the brakes on my motorcycle.
Yeah.
Happens a lot because the individuals don't know how to judge the speed of a motorcycle.
Okay. So if you see one, you need to let it get by you.
Exactly.
Don't try to get out in front of it.
Right.
Just assume it's going a whole lot faster. That's a good piece of advice.
Yeah.
Well, and you see the signs that says, look twice, save a life.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Look twice, save a life. But because I have a lot of friends like you that are out there on those motorcycles, and the traffic reporter in me is going,
there's
be
nothing
careful, be
like it.
careful.
There's nothing like it.
Well, we snow ski, and so there ain't nothing like that either.
You know, you're exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, there's nothing like that because it's like flying. It's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of injuries in snow skiing.
There is, and then
That's
there's
how Sonny Bono got killed.
yes,
Wasn't
it is because he wasn't wearing a helmet, and my husband doesn't wear a helmet on the ski hill. So you wear a helmet on a motorbike, don't
Oh,
you?
yeah.
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 So are
I'll
you
wear one. Even if they pass a law where you don't have to wear one, I'll always wear one.
very good? And that's I recommend it. People who ski, and I know a lot of people that don't want to wear them, but I mean, if people will, that's one thing you were talking about, how that people, you have to watch about the people around you.
Exactly.
That's the same thing with when you're skiing.
Yeah.
Because people will get out of control and hit you.
Yeah.
And can hurt you very badly, and little kids too. Oh my gosh, I've got video of my husband getting wiped out on the hill this past winter, and he wasn't even on skis, and somebody took him out, and they came very close to my grandson.
Yeah.
Could kill my grandson with the impact that they had. So you have to be very mindful of that and wear your helmet. But talking with Ron Baptiste, I do have one more ad we need to get to. My friends Barry and Rebecca will be right back. Anything that you have that is a parting thought, we'll hit that in just a second, Ron.
Okay.
And but we're going to talk for a minute about Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team, another longtime sponsor here at One Street Over, and we just appreciate them so much. And just experts in the real estate world. If you Google them, you're going to find two unique web pages. Go Barry Richards Exit Realty Garden Gate Team. Go Rebecca Richards Exit Realty Garden Gate Team. You're going to get two unique web pages. For Rebecca, you're also going to get a Facebook link. But when it'll pop up. You'll get some information about them across the top. It has, on Barry's particularly, there's a little blog about the historic homes and businesses that they have worked with. And if you're looking particularly for a historic home or something like that, they can help you out. There's just all kinds of things going on that if you're looking to buy in the real estate community, you want somebody that's got their eyes out there looking for exactly what you're looking for. And if you are wanting to sell, they need to know the market that you're selling in to make sure that you're asking the right price. Because if you've overpriced your property, people aren't even going to look at it, because a lot of times they'll go, okay, I want this zip code, in this price range. So if you've overpriced your property, you're not even going to get a glance. You got to also have the great pictures. You got to have some video. Oftentimes those walkthrough tours are just priceless, and drone footage, especially if you've got acreage. People want to know what's going on around you. But you can find them so easily just by Googling them. Barry Richards, Exit Realty Garden Gate Team, Rebecca Richards, Exit Realty Garden Gate Team. You can pop into their office. They are brokers in separate cities. She's the broker in White House. He is the broker here in Springfield. He has an office on the downtown square. And another way to, get in contact with them, you can just pick up the telephone and give Rebecca a call at 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425, and know that they specialize in Robertson County properties because they're cross-planians. Been there for over 27 years, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. Great friends of mine, great friends of the program. When you contact them, let them know that U-Turn sent you. And with that said, again, we've got Perry and Katie Myers coming on, starting to sponsor next week. Real excited about that. And it is Mr. Perry's Music, and Katie did it. And that's what we're going to be talking about when we talk about them, but we'll have you more details on that. Very excited to bring on new sponsors. We do have some sponsorships going to be available as Veterans Motorplex drops off the schedule because this is their last weekend. Get out to the races tomorrow. Gates open at 4. Racing starts at 6, and throw some love on them because they've been sponsoring us all summer long, and soon they'll be back in the spring. But any parting thoughts for us, Ron?
Well, you had mentioned one thing that struck a chord with me.
Okay.
That a lot of people will talk about, using the higher power.
Mm.
And I just wanted to make sure everybody knows on our Wednesday night group in our church, we allow people to use the name of Jesus if they want to.
Yeah.
Some say not to use it, but use the phrase higher power.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. I understand that. The Bible says, give unto Caesar that is Caesar's, and unto God that is God's. But on Wednesday night, we have ours open for people. If they want to express their faith, they can. They want to use the name of Jesus, they can.
Mm-hmm.
So it's free there to be able to do that. I want to let everybody know that.
I love that. And I just appreciate all that you do. Tell them again what time you meet on Wednesday night and on Sunday, and that'll take us out to the top of the hour.
Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, Sunday at 10:30.
All right, Covenant Confirmers. What's the address, Ron?
Off
the top of your head.
300 10th Avenue East.
It's right there. All right, and good to go. And I appreciate you so much, Ron. And also, Native American Month, if you have something special that you want to do, like at our school, we're going to be doing some stuff with Ron. Reach out to this man because he knows it, and he's got the heritage and can just speak some beauty into that heritage and be there as an example of a life well lived for the kiddos, especially if you want to have him in the school. So thank you so much for being a part of it, and don't forget, Veterans Day tomorrow. Of course, a lot of people doing observances today, and you are invited to this placing of the Blue Star Memorial Marker tomorrow at noon at Springfield Memorial Gardens. Hope you can be a part of that. Thank you for being a part of what we do here at One Street Over. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend, y'all.